Hi, we are on to assignment for part 3. So what we're doing now, we're going to get a scrap piece of paper and we're going to cut out a little bounding box window that is half the size of the original bounding box we made for the original object. So if the original was 100 by 60, this one will be 50 by 30. So I've got a little window right here, and it's 30 by 50 millimeters. So what we're going to do is get back to our original drawing, and we're going to use this little window to find a new composition on the original object. So we're going to use this to move around and find something interesting, what you think is a good composition. And you can go off the side of the box, you can go upside down, like in the orientation for me right now. Anything that you want that will fit inside this little window. So I could go something like this, where I've got this big shape here, or I could twist it around and have something like this sort of L shape here. Once you've found something interesting, you're going to tape this down with some little pieces of tape so that our little window doesn't move anymore. Then what we do, we'll set this aside. We're going to cut out a big piece of paper. Now, this can either be 9 or 10 times the size of this little window. So if I'm doing 9 times, so 9 times 30 is 270 millimeters. 9 times 50 is 450 millimeters. So I'm going to cut this sheet out, use your knife, and this tall length then is 450 millimeters. And this width here is 270 millimeters. This keeps us at the same proportion as our little window here, and even the original size box we used. What we're doing then is we are transferring points, just like the first bit of the assignment, from this little window onto this big board here. So the thing is now, instead of going up 200%, we're going up 900% or 9 times larger than the little window we've cut out. And so it's the same process. I will measure over from the side of the window to the first point, and we'll call that 18. And I take 18 millimeters times 9, so 9 times 18, 72, 7, 9 times 1 plus 7, 162 over. So that's going to be 10.162 over, and I mark that. And then I go up from my orientation, and that's 29. So 29 times 9, 81, 18, 26, 261. Let's clear up here. And so on, just like the original assignment, until I get something like this, like a line going over, and then we'll map out the points and I get a line going up, and then I've got an arc right here. Doing an arc is optional. So if you felt like the arc was too difficult for you in the first design and transferring the points there, you don't have to include the arc, but you'll get more points if you do go for the arc. In this case, we would need to find the center point of the original arc, which we already knew from the first design, and figure out where that needs to sit in order to make the arc on this design. Interestingly, the center point of my arc was right here on the edge. So I'll find where that center point happened on that edge. I'll multiply that up by 9. and it'll sit somewhere here. I know I'm estimating, but you guys have already done this, so you know how to transfer points. Now, the thing is, since we're not in class on the ground, you don't have access to a big compass. We've got this compass. So if your arc is wider than this compass, you could make a compass out of something like your straight edge or a ruler, right? You could put a point here, you could tape a pencil here, and then arc up with it at the correct measurement. So I would end up with something roughly like this. So now we're going to paint the new shape that we have. So now we're getting an abstract painting out of our original design. Remember, we went to 3D representation, and now we're going back to two-dimensional representation. And you can be creative with this. You don't have to make the original shape black or filled in like it was. You could act like this is paint or collage. We could do this part black and this part blue and this whole part some collage or whatever other color. The idea is, in the end, to come up with a creative painting. So here's one that's similar to the one I'm working on, and you can see they did all sorts of different work on this. And here's a really basic one where they just did the original black of the object. So in the end, again, you will have 3 parts of this assignment to turn in. This last one is probably the most fun. Any questions, be sure to post in the discussion area or email me.